What's going on, guys? Bottom Bite back here.
No.
No?
Yeah, it's Bottom Bite. What's up,
It's
guys?
Bottom Bite, yeah. Check out the new studio. Spent a lot of time, spent a lot of money, but it's here. We love it. Anyways, today, guys, we are going to be going over with y'all our top 5 picks for catfish bait. Number 5, pack bait. There's a lot of different ways you can make pack bait. You can buy it. Pack bait is if you go to Walmart and you buy the catfish balls, that's pack bait. If you make pack bait at your house, if you use and just anything stinky to put in the water to get the catfish to bite, that's pack bait.
I don't like the way you said that word, stinky.
Stinky? No.
Yeah, like
Smelly, yeah.
Smelly.
Okay. Real smelly bait. Anyways, it's very effective. It's very cheap.
It's very expensive at times.
It's very what?
Expensive at times.
Yeah. We don't really use pack bait.
We use live bait, so this is the top 5 for you guys, so we're going to go ahead and keep talking.
Anyways, guys, it's effective bait. It catches a lot of smaller catfish, especially channel cats. You get your smaller blue cats that bite it. It's not particularly a bait that I use rarely ever. More or less, I might use stink bait to chum with, but besides that, I don't use it a lot, but it does make the top 5 list because it's very popular and cheap and small catfish effective bait.
4.
Worms. Worms are probably the most popular, common for just about any species. What do you think?
Just get you
Best bluegill, catfish, crappie.
Pretty much will catch anything.
Right. What fish doesn't like worms? And I remember being a kid fishing with worms for catfish. It's a very effective bait. It's
Some
very
people think
cheap.
you just throw a worm on there and you're just going to catch a little brim. You can catch anything on a worm,
Mm-hmm.
as long as it's in the area.
Right. And as long as you have the right hook for whatever, if you're fishing for bluegill, obviously you want about a size 8 hook with the worms.
Yeah, obviously you wouldn't want the biggest catfish and hook and throw a worm on there and see what you can catch.
Right. Not saying you can't catch a relatively decent catfish on it. You most likely can. I haven't before. I haven't actually seen it. But it's a very effective bait. It's very cheap. You could just go out in your backyard and get them. But anyways, it's an effective bait and it catches a lot of smaller catfish.
3.
Chicken livers. Oh man, haven't we all fished for chicken livers
Love
for
the
catfish?
smell of it. Love the ickiness on your hands. Love it. It's just bad. It's bad company.
Yeah.
Chicken
livers is very effective. Very, very, very effective. It'll catch smaller catfish, it'll catch bigger catfish, it'll catch medium catfish, it'll catch blue catfish, it'll catch channel catfish, it'll catch flathead catfish. It's relatively cheap. The only downside about chicken livers is they spool, they do stink, and they come off the hook very easily. So there's a couple ways to keep your bait on the hook.
You can use pantyhose, you can use what? You can use thread. You can use thread from Walmart. You can use wherever.
Right.
And you can just.
Most people don't. Most people just put the chicken liver on and they cast and it comes off. They just reel back in and put the bait back on. But that's probably the biggest downside is it doesn't like to stay.
Number 2, live bait.
All right, guys, live bait. Most people, this might be their favorite bait. For me personally, it's definitely my second. It's very effective, especially if you have the right gear to do it with. What you're looking at, this is a Cast King medium heavy catfish rod with a bait runner on it. So if you guys don't know what a bait runner is, we're going to make a video on it. But in short, this is definitely the rod you want to use when you're using live bait or even chicken livers. Any of those baits are very good, especially for catfish. Any bottom fishing is perfect for a bait runner. So pretty much what you do is cast out with your bait runner off. You don't mess with your drag on your rod any. You turn your bait runner on. The catfish gets the bait, pulls out. It feels no tension on the line. As soon as you start to reel, your bait runner turns off. It sets the hook for you. You don't have to do any work. Great way to prevent you from losing big fish.
Right.
Because a lot of people, they'll turn, when they're catfishing, a lot of people will turn their drag completely down on their rods. And I don't care who you are, that is not what you do. Because when you do that and you get a big bite, yes, it notifies you that there's a big bite, but you're sitting there trying to tighten your drag back up to even set that hook, and you're not keeping any pressure on the line. There's a lot of slack in the line, and you lose a lot of fish that way. So when you're fishing with live bait, you're fishing with cut bait, or any kind of bottom bait, bait runners are always a good option. They're relatively about, I think the rod and the reel ran me about $100 on this Cast King, and then the bait runner was another $50, so $150 setup. But I pulled in a 50-pound catfish on this rod. It's a great rod, and live bait is an awesome bait. Back into our number 2 bait. Live bait is very well. I like bluegill. I like American shad. Any kind of shad that is in the waters that you're fishing is really good. Just make sure when you're using live bait that you have some nice ounce. You have a good, nice 6 to 8 ounce sinker on there. Especially if you got a big bluegill or shad, because he's just going to take you right back into cover. But when you have that ounce is keeping them down towards the bottom of the lake where they can't just drag you all the way out.
Number 1, what is the number 1 best top thing to use for catfishing?
That would be cut bait.
Cut bait.
Cut bait.
Can't beat it.
Nope. A lot of people like live bait. A lot of people like cut bait. I love cut bait. I caught this fish on cut bait. Pretty big fish. It was a nice 15-minute fight. That was on cut bait. That was on cut shad.
Cut shad. Okay, so you like using cut shad, or what else do you like using for cut bait?
My favorite cut bait is bluegill.
Bluegill?
Because bluegill here in Georgia, bluegill are native to every body of water. They're native to, they're in every pond, they're in every creek, they're in every stream, they're in every lake, they're everywhere. Some places don't have shad. So bluegill are to me more bloodier. They are more bony fish, but I've always caught big catfish off of cut. The way normally we do this is we go out, we bluegill fish, and I take the bluegill and I cut it into 3 sections. You got the head, you got the middle of the body, and you got the tail. Okay, the tail, more or less, sometimes I'll make a chum bag. It might just be me with that. I mean, some people can use it, but I make a chum bag with all my tails depending on how much catfishing I'm doing. And then the middle of the body and the head especially, are the baits that I use.
The more bloodier the bait is, the more of a chance you have to catch a cat.
Right. So fresh bluegill too, guys. You know, like, not saying frozen won't work, it'll work, but you want them fresh, you want them bloody, you want the catfish to pick up on that scent. About a month ago, I went down to Lake Sinclair, and I went down there with a bunch of buddies, and they didn't really know too much about cut bait, and I caught bluegill, and I fished cut bait the whole time. And this is a big catfish lake, so I knew we were going to catch some monsters. And I caught a bluegill, put the head on, I cast them about 100 yards with my monster rod. I got a 16-foot shark rod, and that's what I was using. But anyways, I caught this fish 30 minutes in to fishing with cut bait for catfish. Now that is a big fish. That is a monster fish.
Pretty big.
Yep. And it was about 20 minutes to the dock, and it's solid 45 pounds. I mean, a very, very big fish. What, you don't think that was a big fish?
I think it was pretty big.
Bigger than anything he's ever caught.
It's bigger than anything I've ever caught, so in fresh water anyway, yeah. But I think you could have caught bigger.
Yeah, I probably could have.
You know what I mean? 45 pounds is good, but I think you could have.
I could have caught bigger.
You're like the catfish king, man, when it comes to a lot of our buddies, so it's like, you could have caught bigger.
I could have caught bigger, man. Anyways, guys, those are our top 5 catfish baits. Let us know what you think in the comments. If you have different baits that you think are really good, let us know in the comments. Let us know about them. We would love to hear them. And subscribe and hit that notification bell. Stay tuned. We got a lot more videos coming to y'all. We got the studio open. Things are about to take off.
We got some big plans for you guys coming up, so make sure you guys stay tuned and keep on liking the videos. It means a lot when you see the likes. So,
Bottom right out.